Wow. I'm a little bit in shock. I just always thought of myself as Puerto Rican, you know, half Puerto Rican.
I make fun of The View a lot, but that's only because they keep talking. Sunny Hostin. Sounds like a town. We're in sunny Hostin. She was on PBS's Finding Your Roots, a show dedicated to researching celebrity ancestry. Sunny Hostin. Sounds like a town. We're in sunny Hostin. She was on PBS's Finding Your Roots, a show dedicated to researching celebrity ancestry. People have to wonder, where does Sunny Hostin get her opinions?
Yeah.
Like you said, it's obviously from her husband. She has to.
You ever think you know exactly who you are, only to find out you were completely wrong? Well, imagine that happening on live television. Sunny Hostin, known for her outspoken views on race and social justice, recently found herself in an ironic situation that no one saw coming. Over the years, she's built a reputation for calling out privilege, advocating for reparations, and positioning herself as a fierce defender of racial equity. But sometimes, history has a funny way of humbling people. She appeared on PBS's Finding Your Roots, a show where celebrities get a deep dive into their ancestry. Seems harmless enough, right? A chance to reconnect with one's heritage, maybe even confirm long-held family stories. But what Sunny found out, it changed everything.
Allegedly, he was cheating while Melania was pregnant.
That was all. That's not going to come in front of the jury, though. The judge has ruled that won't come up.
We're on television now. And then after Melania gave birth to the baby, he found Stormy to strip around with, right?
Yes.
It's like people should look at him and say, you know, what kind of an insecure jerk are you? You know what I mean? It's like, oh, my wife's pregnant. I'm not attracted to her big belly or something. And now she's paying attention to the baby and not.
Know who has been bragging all over the campaign trail about how he's the one that overturned Roe v. Wade. But apparently, his wife has different thoughts on the reproductive rights after posting this video plugging her memoir.
Oh.
Take a look.
Individual freedom is a fundamental principle that I safeguard. Without a doubt, there is no room for compromise when it comes to this essential right that all women possess from birth: individual freedom. What does my body, my choice really mean?
As she sat across from genealogist Henry Louis Gates Jr., likely expecting an enlightening but familiar journey into her roots, the truth hit her like a freight train. Her ancestors, not oppressed immigrants, not victims of historical injustice. No, according to the research, they were actually European slave owners. Yeah, let that sink in for a second. She looked stunned, visibly caught off guard. And honestly, who wouldn't be? Evidence suggests she stammered, trying to process the information. There was an awkward silence, the kind that makes you shift uncomfortably in your seat. Then came her response, one that many found underwhelming. Instead of deep reflection, she apparently muttered something about how it was just a fact of life and moved on. That's when the internet exploded. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, you name it, they had something to say. And the memes? Ruthless. One tweet joked, Sunny Hostin just found out she owes herself reparations. Another viral post showed her with the caption, "Guess I'm cutting a check to me."
I make fun of The View a lot, but that's only because they keep talking. Those hens are always clucking. They get to say stupid stuff for an hour every day, and then I get to say stupid stuff for an hour every day, except on purpose. But every now and then, one of those dingbats inadvertently says something that reveals modern liberal thought so perfectly, it deserves further study. You know, like a weird serpent that washed up on the beach and you want to poke it with a stick.
The backlash wasn't just from random internet users either. People who've been on the receiving end of her criticisms for years weren't about to let this slide. Some pointed out what they saw as hypocrisy. After all, if she's been vocal about holding others accountable for their ancestors' pasts, shouldn't she now be held to the same standard? Others were more forgiving, saying she can't control her lineage, but should at least acknowledge the irony. And of course, late-night hosts and political commentators couldn't resist weighing in. Greg Gutfeld, known for his sharp humor, took a jab at the situation, making comparisons that had his audience cracking up. He allegedly implied that this was like finding out a vegan secretly owns a steakhouse. The jabs didn't stop there, though. Some pointed out how quick she has been to call out others, but how quiet she became when her own history was put under the microscope. Then there was the response from The View itself, or rather, the lack of one. Whispers from behind the scenes suggested her co-host didn't quite know how to react. Whoopi Goldberg, who usually has a quick-witted comeback for everything, seemed to hold back. Maybe even she realized this was one of those moments that words couldn't fix.
I think she hates him.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay, so we can all
That's a
agree on
given.
that. That's a given. I also think that she wants to take him out. She does not want to be the first lady anymore.
They agree with you.
She doesn't want to be the first lady. She destroyed the Rose Garden. Who hates Christmas? Melania Trump hates Christmas. She doesn't want to decorate for Christmas. She doesn't want to have anything to do with him.
about that. Yeah.
She doesn't want to sleep in the same room with him. She can't tolerate him.
Allegedly.
And she doesn't.
Yeah, how do you know all this?
Yeah, I was like, I don't know.
You don't know all this.
Allegedly.
she
That's
told
why I
me.
say allegedly.
People have to wonder, where does Sunny Hostin get her opinions?
Yeah.
Like you said, and it's obviously from her husband. She has to tell her what to say in The View, because without it, she's got nothing up there. She's not very bright. But the problem with her is that she went full racist.
But beyond the jokes and the internet's wild reactions, there's a bigger conversation here. How do we reconcile personal history with public advocacy? Can someone genuinely fight for racial justice while also grappling with a complicated and uncomfortable lineage? Some experts argue that identity politics has become so rigid that it leaves no room for nuance. That when people define themselves solely by their racial or ancestral background, they risk being blindsided by revelations like this. Others say that the real lesson here isn't about shame or hypocrisy, it's about learning. That perhaps the best thing Sunny could do is use this moment to open up a more honest, complex discussion about history and personal responsibility. So what happens now? Does Sunny address this head-on and add more depth to her views on history and racial justice? Or does she hope the internet moves on to the next scandal? Either way, this story isn't disappearing anytime soon.
So isolated, they've forgotten that most Americans don't get paid to sit in a comfy chair pontificating about everything all day. Nope, some of us are cameramen whose names I don't know. But maybe one day, when we finally strip away this phony race war, it will finally expose this elite mentality. And we'll find out Sunny is just like Marie Antoinette, except she says, "Let me eat cake." People have to wonder, where does Sunny Hostin get her opinions?
Yeah.
Like you said, and it's obviously from her husband. She has to tell her what to say in The View, because without it, she's got nothing up there. She's not very bright. But the problem with her is that she went full racist.
And let's be real, next time she brings up the topic of reparations on The View, someone's going to bring this up. The only question is, how will she handle it? At the end of the day, history is full of surprises, and sometimes those surprises come knocking when you least expect them. Maybe this is a wake-up call, not just for Sunny, but for anyone who hasn't looked deeply into their own roots. Maybe, just maybe, there's a lesson in all of this. One about self-awareness, personal growth, and the ever-complicated nature of our past. If you liked this breakdown, don't forget to like and subscribe. And trust me, there's plenty more to talk about in the world of celebrity hypocrisy. See you in the next one.